What's up, guys? It's Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming here, coming with you here now. Jedi Fallen Order. Respawn Entertainment crafted a very, very solid Jedi experience, and this is coming out of EA, of all people. I know everybody has issues with EA, with rightly so. I mean, I've experienced my own fair of criticism because of my support of Battlefront 2, as it did not have a good start. Neither did 2015 Battlefront. So now this was EA's third chance to get the license right, allowing Respawn, the creators of the Titanfall series, who created Titanfall 2, which, yes, the story in that was well done. It was amazing. I did play that campaign. Even though it wasn't my forte, I always did come back to it. So these guys know how to craft agility, speed, momentum, and action, and storytelling. But how does Jedi Fallen Order, the first open, semi-open world, action-driven Star Wars game? The last time we saw something of that caliber was The Force Unleashed 1 and 2. In this game, you play as Cal Kestis, a Jedi Padawan after Order 66. You do see certain flashes, without spoiling anything too much, even though I'm pretty sure a lot of people who played it already know. You do see certain moments from a particular part in the Clone Wars, specifically at the end of Revenge of the Sith. So, now living under the watch of the Empire and having to stay hidden, being a Jedi survivor, Cal Kestis unwittingly has got himself into trouble with the Empire, not intentionally revealing that he was a Force user, but he was caught out of quick reaction time. But without spoiling the rest of the story, it is a great experience. It takes you on you starting as a Padawan, both physically and in power in this game, because you're not elaborately powerful. You start off as a Padawan, no matter what difficulty you play on, and each difficulty will challenge you from story to Grand Master. If you want a fair experience, start on Jedi Knight mode. And once you go through the game, after its first, I want to say 3 hours, 3.5 hours to 4, the game opens up with the different worlds that you can go back to, and you have to gain certain Force abilities to access secret areas. These can range from lightsaber components to lightsaber colors, certain abilities, certain skill trees, ways to extend your health, ways to extend your force, cosmetic items for your ship and BD1. No microtransactions anywhere to be found, which shows how much EA did not get involved. And as a nice touch, you're free to roam the ship while you transition from world to world, showing that you can go to the jump to light speed, hearing character dialogue in between, having a chance to customize your saber and meditate, listening to the characters' dialogues that are very well voice acted, from the main characters to even minor characters that we see. And your little droid BD1 is not no throwaway droid. He can get you through certain areas. He unlocks certain things. So, the one thing we all want to know is, how does it feel in this game to wield a lightsaber? And with the small controversy of no dismemberment. Now, there is dismemberment, yes and no. With the Stormtroopers, obviously they want to market this game for younger players to also get into it. There is no dismemberment to living human creatures. But certain enemy types that are close to humanoid, they can be split into multiple pieces. Insects, the giant tick-like spiders. But you can still do pretty cool ability kills to the Stormtroopers. Now we have different enemy types, from your standard stormtroopers to your standard rocket troopers, shock troopers, baton troopers, to the new exclusive purge troopers. And these guys are specifically trained by the Inquisitorius to hunt you down. Now, I don't want to seem like I'm thinking this game is perfect, because it's not. Yes, it has slightly paved the way for EA to realize that we need more Star Wars games of this caliber. But now I want to talk about some of the problems. It has a lot of technical difficulties. I've seen technical difficulties on all platforms, on video comparisons. Sometimes the game will run well, and then sometimes it will not. But there is something strange about that. The first time I played the game on my own time, not on stream, I spent the whole weekend playing it through its release, which, even with the problems aside, the problems I'm going to explain, I still enjoyed the game and went through it. Because clearly I would not be, I would still put myself through that, despite what I'm about to say. The pop-in is terrible. The hit detection is hit and miss. The enemy AI needs to be more aggressive, no matter what difficulty. They don't really get aggravated when they see you. The certain platforming has difficulties like Assassin's Creed when you want to specifically jump onto things. And the action can sometimes slow down the speed of the game. Now, when there's a bunch of enemies, it will cause great slowdown, bad pop-in textures, and the enemies will just pop in right in front of you and instantly load. Now that's happening during my streams. In my own time, I was surprised that I ran the game perfectly fine. Maybe with a couple dips during lightsaber combat, but overall, I still kept going. Now, can it be fixed? Yes, with a few patches and the load times. We received the load time patch while I was doing this review. I listened to somebody's video, and yes, there was an update. The load times are a lot shorter now, but there needs to be a lot more work. And the developers have said that they want to hear the feedback. They want to hear what you guys have to say, so we can all request and push to have patches to fix the game. Now to the next section I want to talk about. Boss battles. Boss battles are a surprise. They run fairly well. I've only had very minor issues with enemy pathing and AI and some slowdown, but that rarely happened during the boss battles. Respawn's combat, lightsaber combat, feels very, very good here. I know the combat to the boss battles are also compared to the Soul series, and the Soul series, yes and no. Not the traditional Soul series. It draws more from Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and you can very tell. If you really want to call it a Souls game, I would say call it Souls Light. It's still very easy, and for anybody who has never played a Souls game, or if you're intimidated to playing the Dark Souls series of its deadly difficulty, Jedi Fallen Order gives you that alternative. You can have a challenging experience that if you get knocked down or beat by the boss, you know what? Take a break, go level yourself up by going to kill enemies, because in the world there are these bonfire-inspired save areas where you can upgrade your skill points, rest, and meditate. But the meditation process respawns all enemies, which can be perfect if you want to farm and level up. For certain boss sections, which boss battles can be pretty lengthy at best, I was not disappointed with these lightsaber battles. They're very unique, and each boss does fight you differently. Though there's not a ton of boss battles, each of these boss battles were worth getting to, and some were quite a surprise. My favorite lightsaber duel took place on Kashyyyk with one of the Inquisitors. And you do encounter one minor storytelling problem with the character of the second sister, and identifying herself way too quickly. They pushed her story a little further along because I really did feel for her character, but they were still showing it at such a rushed speed. If we would have found out a little more, or if there would have been a section, like a flashback, where you played as her to try to hide and do what she said in her backstory. Now, how these cutscenes are presented, this is Star Wars at its finest in video game storytelling. The cutscenes would feel like this is what the Old Republic should look like if they were to do an Old Republic video game. That's still on the drawing board for a different day. But anyway, Jedi Fallen Order will make you feel like a kid again with hearing familiar music, familiar cues, certain dialogue that doesn't feel forced. You can actually get that Star Wars vibe. Whatever Star Wars film or video game you played first when you were young, you will feel the joy of hearing Battle of the Heroes in one particular part of the game. It's very slight. You hear a small rendition of it. To hearing music from the prequels to let you know that the prequels were not far off from this game. Seeing the worlds, the different worlds, going to Kashyyyk, Dathomir, new worlds like Zepho and Bracca, even the Inquisitor Fortress, which you cannot unfortunately go back to. I wish that they would bring that world into it, because what this game also needs is a boss rush mode, or a new game plus mode, or just something to freshen up the gameplay each and every time. Because once you beat the game, it's all about completing it and getting trophies after that point. That's just another criticism that I have, is that you have nothing else to do. Now, this can be fixed, like I said, if the developers hear this out and want to apply more to the game. This could also open the doors for DLC. The DLC, if there's going to be any, would be great. Now, the best part of the game, and what drives you to do searching throughout the whole worlds of the game, is lightsaber, bleh, forgive me, tough spot. Lightsabers, you can find the different parts, different pieces, to craft a saber that feels like your own. And there's a lot of things the developers didn't tell you about the lightsabers in this game. You don't just start off with a single blade. You can get a dual blade very early on if you find the secret. And later on in the game, you end up having two blades in your hand to do Jarkai lightsaber combat. Things like this are much appreciated. They also add to the reason why you should go back to each little world to search every nook and cranny. And you might end up like I did, falling into the addiction of searching for everything. I'm still going back to world, even though I'm completed the story, and I know there's not much to do besides killing all the different enemies and maxing out my skill tree. But I still enjoy exploring because I'm always finding something new. I'm at 96% now. I'm only 4% to go, and that's also to get the trophies. But this game does give you that motivation to 100% it. If you're not much of a fan of doing that, then you'll have unlocked mostly everything by the end of the game. The navigation is fairly simple to get into. BB-8 gives you a good heads-up display, shows you each levels of where you cannot go. And then there's certain sections where it will require different force powers. Using the different force powers to save yourself from falling, to sliding, to all these environmental puzzles, which are fairly challenging, I must say. on my stream I have some difficulty trying to discover the Zepho tombs. The Zepho tombs will confuse me. So you'll just trying to find your objective. You'll end up going down a different path and finding a secret. And you know what? I think that's how it should be. The only other criticism I think I have left is no fast travel. There's no fast travel to be seen in the game, but I think that was done on purpose. It gives you more of a reason to explore the different areas and trying to find these hidden world secrets. But like I said, all issues aside with the game, through its technical difficulties, the game still brings you back. It still makes you want to see it through to the end. And that's a good thing. That will show the developers that they want more of this type of Star Wars game. Even though you will beat it by searching through everything at 25 hours max. That's what it took me to complete this game, or getting close to completing this game. But if I was to rate it now, I give it a 7.8. Because all the technical difficulties does not want me warranted an 8 just yet, or an 8.5 to a 9. So, this is Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming, and I'll catch you all next time.